Hi there, thanks for tuning into this video. My name's Calum, I'm one of the pastors at Elim in Paisley. Today I'm going to be having a discussion with Paul Fletcher. Paul moved to Paisley a few years ago and he began to see the potential in the town, and since then has launched a really high quality free magazine called The Mill. You've probably seen it around in some shops and different places. We stock it in the church as well. So I wanted to touch base with Paul, see how he's getting on with the magazine, hear about his story and just about some of the positive things that are happening across our community during lockdown and hopefully beyond that as well. Check this conversation out. So Paul, thank you very much for giving us up some time today just to, tell us a bit about your story and who you are. And we've known each other probably for a couple of years, but you might not remember this, but the first time I actually heard from you was a few years back. You'd been at one of the tag street parties that we've been running.
That's right.
And you shot in just this really kind email, just saying it was a great family day. And and when I got that email, I thought, do you know something? This is a guy who one, totally gets what we were doing, but two, equally, I could tell you equally, we're desiring the best for Paisley, the best for Renfrewshire, and you were quite passionate about the town you were living in. So it was great then a couple of years later just to connect over what you're doing now with the magazine. And we've had a couple of chats and blend and coffees, and every time we've been chatting, I've always kind of thought, one, I always walk away just with way more positive about Paisley and about Renfrewshire when we chat, but also just a sense of it would be great maybe in the midst of the chaos and the pandemic we're going through, just for some other people to kind of get us insight into some of that stuff as well, because I think I'm really keen for us not to go 10 years back the way as a community, but
absolutely
kind of keep looking ahead, keep being positive, and just hearing some of the great things that are happening. So thanks for your time. Why don't you tell us a bit about yourself, Paul? What brought how long you've been in Paisley? How did you end up here? And
well, it was my partner. I met my partner, and she was from Paisley, and I moved through here. It must be 9 years ago, and I thought this town was great. I always thought this town was great, and it was always the kind of the locals that put me off it. I'd meet somebody and I'd say I was from Edinburgh, and they'd look at me as if I was daft. It's like, what have you left Edinburgh to come here for? You left one of the best cities in the world to come here. And I says, well, my partner brought me here, and soon I'm going to have a son who's born here. So that's what brought me through, and I always liked Paisley. I'd walk around and think, well, there's a lot to see and do here. And that was, 9 years ago. 9 years ago when it was quite desolate. So every weekend I would take my son, when he was just a baby, would take a stroll into town. And I remember being at more than one of your tag street parties, and I always remember thinking that this is a great idea. This is a great thing, because it was a free day. It was a free day, and we could get something to eat, we could get something to drink, and there was lots of activities. Even for him as a toddler, you could do some drawing or whatever. And you'll remember as well, you always seem to get the good weather. I
know every single year we did it. It was sunny. Mental.
It was sunny. Well, there you go. I was just trying to think when we were lining up this chat. I thought, there's never been a wet tagged street party.
It's incredible, considering we live in Scotland, isn't it?
It is, but it just shows you, there's somebody looking down on you.
That's exactly it. I mean, probably all our prayers were answered,
Absolutely, and these were great days, and from that point onwards, and we discussed this last year. I mean, last year was the first time you never did a tag street party, because what you were trying to do was already happening in the town. Now, the council had stepped up with their events, which has been tremendous. Usually First had stepped up as well with a lot of great, when we got the car fest days and the trails around the shops. And I liked the fact, I mean, I remember missing the tag street party last year, thinking, why is there no tag street party? And I was glad when you told me that the reason you didn't do it was because you didn't have to do it, because the things that were happening in the town was what you wanted to happen.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I felt like we were just like bridging a bit of a gap in the town for a few years there, where there was not much going on in the town centre, especially over that summer period.
That's right.
I mean, there's still some great things happening. But just in terms of something that was free, that would bring the families together, especially towards the end before they go back to school. Yeah. And so it was great just as we began to do that, just seeing some of these other community events, the council kind of step up, do some great events over the summer. And so it kind of got to a point where we felt we didn't need to put on anymore, because even the piping, I love the pipes when they come in to County Square, and just getting to go and hear them, and just these are all great events, that are now on.
Oh, yeah, tremendous. So, a couple of years ago, 2 years ago, I kind of had the thought about doing the magazine for Renfrewshire, because I felt there was a lot happening here, and I was also sick of folk moaning about the place. It was starting to get to me. I thought, all right, why don't you just get behind? Paisley will never be what it was, but it can still be a great town again. And that is the way it's heading. Yeah. Thanks to, you've got a lot of good events happening, and a lot of amazing community groups that are coming together to make Paisley an amazing town again. And it's getting there. It's in fact, it's probably almost there. It's such a good, vibrant place to be if you go out and embrace what's happening and make the most of it. And I think back to 2019, when we had like the food festival, we had Small Shot Day, we had the spree, we had Halloween. And Small Shot Day is one that kind of sticks out in particular because it was a glorious day, and the town was bursting with people. There was families everywhere, and it was just such a great atmosphere. So if these events are happening, people will join and come and enjoy it, which is great to see.
Yeah, definitely. And hopefully, maybe people are listening to this and they've never been to any of these events, but just that chance to get involved, get stuck in. Yeah. It's actually become just a really pleasant place to even just walk around, because of, the architecture is all looking great. And some of these events are just absolutely, and they're high quality now as well.
That's right.
It used to be like the fireworks used to be in Seahill playing fields.
That's right.
And it was good, but the stuff they're doing now, and in the centre of the town is really exceptional.
Yes, and it's a shame they've not had the chance to build on that. Yeah. Because obviously working in the magazine, we kind of speak to the people that organise these events firsthand, and we knew that they just wanted to improve on what had happened in the previous year. So it's a real shame that they won't get the chance to improve on that. But safety of people comes first. Yeah. And obviously this coronavirus it's hit everybody. It's hit the whole world. It's slightly annoyed me that it's hit Renfrewshire, as if this park could have been saved, which it couldn't. But because it just kind of felt like, especially last year, it was starting to ride the crest of a wave. Yeah. And that's what we were riding, that crest of a wave. We seen what was happening with our magazine. There was more inquiries. People wanted to be part of it, and for it to kind of hit, Paisley and Renfrewshire at this stage where it was really just starting to get going again, is been a bit rubbish. Yeah. But we've still got all these great businesses here, and we know that all these businesses feel the same way. And they are, they're ready to come out fighting and just carry on where they left off, which is what they really need to do.
Absolutely, yeah. And it's just trying to ride the wave of the storm now, just for a short period of time. We can just get through that and come out the other end, get some events going again. And there's been, you were saying just before we came on camera there, just about some businesses that have opened during the lockdown and doing stuff. That's amazing. It's a huge vote of confidence in the town and the area, just about it being a great place to start business. So.
Well, that's right.
You were saying there's some Italians that are opening up.
That's right. I think back to maybe the kind of 6 months leading up to this, there must have been about 4 or 5 kind of new kind of eateries and bars and stuff that opened up. But more recently, you've got Belsibo on Glasgow Road. That's just opened up for takeaway, and there's another cafe at the West End. I think it's called Cafe Rodina. And it's lovely. I dropped off some posters there just to say that we do takeaway, and it's really nice. It's really nice. There was a nice person running it. Very thankful for dropping off the posters. but yeah, there is that confidence that people are, they've got the business ready to go. Do we ride it out, or do we try and make a go of it? And I can see that certainly the Italian place looks busy. I'm not too sure about the other place, but they're certainly putting posts on Facebook, making some great food.
I mean, probably maybe 12, 13 years ago, if you were in the town centre or around about Paisley, there was not very many places to be able to go and eat. And now there's just you could just go there on a Friday night, Saturday night, and you're going to have to book because everywhere's fully booked. Genova, Little Steakhouse is amazing. Just all of these really great restaurants at great prices,
Oh, I mean, the value that you're getting here is unbelievable.
Yeah.
Obviously, you know this, but I'm from Edinburgh, and you would pay, maybe 50% more for a 3-course meal that you would get here. Probably at least 50% more. And the food here is outstanding. I mean, all the restaurants have really upped their game, and even the cafes. Nobody's just churning out normal cafe food. You can get your sliced sausage roll. You can get your bacon rolls, but on the other part of the menu, you're getting some really nice dishes that they're taking time to prepare. Stuff that's not you would associate with cafe food from 10 years ago. It's really good. The eating and drinking scene here is phenomenal. It really is. As you say, tell you what, 12 years ago, you could only really go to a couple of places for a nice dinner. Now you're spoilt for choice, and especially if you take in Renfrewshire as a whole, so many great restaurants.
Well, I think that's one of the things I've really just appreciated about the magazine is actually just seeing beyond Paisley into some of the other places around Renfrewshire, places I hadn't heard of, hadn't been to, but just some great restaurant reviews and some great things. Even here's a great place to go as a family. Just fantastic wee bits in there, wee nuggets of gold actually. So if people are living in the area, it's just pick one up and have a look, and it's great.
Oh, definitely. And the thing is about when you're in Paisley, nothing's far away. You're in you're in Renfrewshire. There's nothing far away. I think Loch Winnock maybe a 15-20 minute drive, and that's the furthest you can go. But everything is so close. If you want good food, you've got a maximum in Renfrewshire. You've got a maximum journey of 20 minutes maybe to get to where you're going to, and we always prefer looking into Renfrewshire as opposed to looking towards Glasgow because there's enough going on there.
Yeah.
So we just try and support Renfrewshire and we've always just kind of showcased what a great place it is to eat and drink, and just kind of focus on the people and the talent that we have here, because there's loads going on.
The thing that I find interesting about you, Paul, is that you've actually moved into the area and seen the kind of potential in the town, but you've also brought with you a high degree of skill when it comes to producing the magazine. I can't stand rubbishy Comic Sans stuff.
Absolutely.
So the thing I really appreciate is actually the excellence of the magazine. That it's a high quality publication.
Thank you.
You managed to do. And so can you just tell us a wee bit about your journey of deciding you decided to do a magazine for the town. How's that process gone? How are you getting on with it? How did you get that launched?
Well, the magazine has been the best project I've ever worked on, because it's my magazine. Now, I've designed magazines for 10 years leading up to this, and I just felt it was time to do something for Paisley, because there was so much going on. If there's things happening in the town, we're usually part of it. But now that I'm more privy to what's going on here, and you see the amount of stuff that's happening. When we launched the first magazine, I thought I knew a lot about Paisley. It turned out I knew nothing. But see, now we're working on the 10th issue. I know loads about Paisley and Renfrewshire. I know lots about what's happening here, the investment that's happening here. And one of the points about doing a magazine is to let people know what's coming, the investment that's happening, the ideas for reimagining Paisley, all these different things. Because I want people to be as positive about Paisley and Renfrewshire as I am, because I know what's happening behind the scenes. A lot of people might not know, but when I tell them what's happening, wow, is that really happening? And then they can open up the magazine and see the investment and the ideas that are coming. So the magazine has been phenomenal. and getting Robert on board, my editor, who's a Foxbar lad, very, very passionate about Paisley and Renfrewshire, and he's, and he writes with that passion. You pick up the magazine and you think, well, he's got a lot of passion, and it's all real. This is how he feels about Paisley and Renfrewshire. So to have him on board as well has been brilliant.
Amazing. So, I mean, like everyone else, I'm imagining for the magazine just now during lockdown, there's maybe been some challenges. Everywhere shut that you would normally be distributing in. How have you found the lockdown process for the magazine? Has it been difficult, or?
There has been no magazine. That's the problem. We need Renfrewshire open to function, and Renfrewshire's closed. There's wee bits and bobs opening up, but without people in the towns and villages, without shops being open, without the cafes and the restaurants and the bars, and even the leisure centres as well. Without these places, we've got nowhere to put a magazine.
Yeah.
So we've just kind of had to bide our time and just wait until Renfrewshire's ready again. And I think we're probably looking at maybe a late July or August magazine coming out about then. Hopefully everything will be as close to normal as it possibly can be. But as you say, when everywhere's shut, there's nothing we can do. I mean, who'd have thought that this would happen?
I know.
In the business plan, what's going to happen if Renfrewshire shuts down? What will you do? Right? It's never going to happen. And hopefully it never happens again. But it's been tough because there's nothing we can do. There's nothing we can do, and we need everybody else to be functioning before we can function.
I think so many people that I'm talking to are the same. It just feels like this pause on normal life, and it's kind of this weird, because there's no end date in sight. It's hard. It's actually quite a challenge to just plan ahead and sort things out. So I take it when things are opening up, you're hoping everything just bounces back. And if people want to get a copy, I mean, they're distributed so widely now. When it first started, there was there was less, but now there's so many places right across Renfrewshire that have got stocks of these fantastic free magazines, which is amazing.
When we first started the magazine, I think we had 50 places we put the magazine into. 50 places, and now we're almost at 3 times that.
It's amazing.
So I distribute the magazine myself. I just fill up my car and I just drive around Renfrewshire. And I mean, I just usually sit at the computer all day, apart from meeting people in town. But the distribution of the magazine is the only real exercise I get from doing the magazine. So it would usually take me 1 day to go around all these places. It now takes me the best part of 3 days to go around all these places and drop off magazines. But it's one of the most rewarding bits as well, because you get to speak to people. When people realise that the person that's delivering the magazine is actually the owner of the magazine, they're a bit more interested, and they speak to you and they open up and they tell you what's happening in their town. They tell you how they feel about the town or village, and it's a great insight. On the other hand, people will tell me they've got a friend that does this, and we think, wow, that's perfect. That's exactly what we need. So we've got this massive connection with the community, which is a byproduct of what we've done. It's not something that we set out to do, but we have this this real community feel about the magazine. Anyone can get involved. Anyone can get in contact with us. Anyone can use our Facebook, as long as it kind of fits in with the ethos of what we do. So so it's gone from 50 places to it's just under 150 at the moment.
That's absolutely
brilliant.
For me, it's like a massive success story for the town, because just the fact that someone's come in, seen the potential, and actually done something instead of just thinking it, actually done something about it, put something together. Got it out there, and also you've been able to kind of pull together just some different things, like map out a wee bit of what's going on around the area, which everyone's kind of zoomed in sometimes and what they're involved with, what they know, but actually when you take that wider look, it's kind of mind blowing actually just how much is going on. Exactly, and you've hit one of the points of having the magazine. It is mind blowing, the amount of stuff, the amount of different community groups
the amount of different kind of even craft fairs, the amount of different makers and crafters and artists that we have in Renfrewshire, it's as you say, it's mind blowing. There's so many people doing, and it's not like wee kind of crafts that are just we're talking about good quality goods that are being marketed out of Renfrewshire, and you'll see a lot of them in for example, in the White Cart Company and in IBAD as well, is just really good products that are now being sold in Renfrewshire. We've got the Loch Winnock handmade market, which we've just started putting on our Facebook as well, and a bunch of really talented individuals making once again great products that you'd find in any shop. And a lot of these people are leaving their jobs to do these. It's brilliant. It's so common. We'll speak to someone that says, I've been thinking about this for 20 years. And then, they've jacked in the job and now they're doing it full time. It's brilliant. Wow. It's really good, and making a success of it.
Amazing. So, I mean, we're going to finish up just in a couple of minutes, but
sure.
If there was, if you've got one bit of advice for someone who's watching this thinking, I really want to support the town post-lockdown and during this period, but I don't really know where to begin. I don't know how to kind of connect locally.
Sure.
If you had a bit of advice for that kind of person listening, what would that be, Paul?
I think if you want to do something here, now's the time to do it. There's a lot of support out there, a lot of different groups. You've got the Business Gateway as well, the Incube. You've got the Incube program. You've got loads of different community groups that will help you. There's everybody that I speak to wants to help everybody else. So if you do want to get involved with something in the town, speak to us, and I will put you in touch with the right people.
Yeah. So
you can get in touch with us through our Facebook. Probably be the easiest way to do it, and go for it. If you've got an idea, talk it through. We can speak to you about it, and then we can put you in touch with the people that maybe do this already, or people that can help you. But yeah, go for it. Do it for Paisley. Do it for Renfrewshire. It is the right thing.
Fantastic. And what I'll do is in the comments description of the video, I'll actually leave links to the website, the Facebook page. So if anyone wants to click on that and just connect, just do that there. That would be great.
Absolutely. No, we're totally here to help. Here to help.
On the side, you're also a phenomenal graphic designer, aren't you? Because you're actually designing. Well, I think so. Anyway, you design the magazine. You design a lot of that stuff yourself, and I know you offer that as a service as well. So there might be some businesses out there who are using Comic Sans. Get rid of the Comic Sans and get in touch with Paul. He'll help you out.
There's other fonts out there. Other fonts out there. Yeah, definitely. We do help, and we do help small businesses. Design is not as expensive as it used to be. So, you probably can afford to use a designer like myself, and that'll free up time for you to kind of concentrate on what you're good at. It's like, for instance, that I have an accountant because I'm not good at that. So it's the same thing. If you've got the time, if you don't have the time, get a designer to do it, and we can do it in a much less time than you can do it yourself. So yeah, do get in touch if you need some design work done.
Right, that's amazing, Paul. Listen, we really appreciate what you're doing. I think it's an absolute gem for the town, and just thanks for all the time. I mean, I know there's been a massive amount of time and effort and work, probably so much behind the scenes that so many people might never see actually. But it is definitely making a difference. I know in the church, the magazines go, they're enjoyed by people, and I know for us it's opened up some new places we hadn't been to before. So if there's anyone out there who's not picked it up, pick one up. You can find some businesses or some restaurants, some places you've not been to. And instead of going to Braehead, Silverburn, why don't you just go to one of these restaurants that are local and support some local businesses? I think that'd be great.
Definitely. No, perfect. No, well, thanks for inviting me on. It was nice that you chose me. It's great to be part of this. And it's funny for myself because it's not something that, when I launched the magazine, I wouldn't expect, you'd be asking to speak to me with regards to what's happening in the town. It's funny how things happen. I mean, I don't know if I told you this, but I was doing some lecturing down at UWS. And which it's funny the doors are open. And it's been a great journey. So I've gone from just being a magazine designer to creating this magazine, which is opening doors for myself from a design perspective, and even from a job perspective as well. It's great. But the magazine, we could fill that magazine twice over with content. There is so much happening here, and there always will be. And just long may it continue.
Fantastic. Yeah, no, really appreciate your time.
Well, thanks for speaking to me.
And just hope for the next few months things work out really well for you.
Thanks.
And looking forward to the next issue. So thank you. Thank you so much.
No, you're welcome. Goodbye.